One is, from a St Kilda point of view, we heard from Alan Richardson, they've got to get the things sorted forward of the ball. I'd like to see Paddy McCartan stay inside forward 50, be that bail-out kick from the first bounce.
Thanks, Lynchy. Well, it's memory with McCartan forward, which is good news to have their leading goal kicker from the last couple of years back into their lineup for the Saints. Ball in the middle. Hickey and Dawson Simpson. We're underway. Huge game this for the Saints. We've seen some bounce-back performances by a number of teams this season, coming off horrific losses to grab inspiring wins. That's exactly what the Saints are hoping to do here in front of their home crowd. As Hickey gives away the free kick to Simpson.
GWS with the extra at the stoppage, Wayne. Carlisle is the loose for the Saints.
Shield takes off and drives it long from just outside the 50. Green floated in. Big fist from Gilbert. Just smashed it over the boundary and through for a behind. In the end, snuck it inside the post.
The run of Finlayson also exciting too for the Giants in that passage of play. Down towards Taranto. Weller, who's back into the side, finds Stephen. Jack comes inboard. Not a lot of distance on it, but it's going to be okay to Sinclair. Now the Saints go up towards the half-forward line. Going to be chopped off, however, unless Gresham can recover, and he does. Well done across to Stephen, put his teammate under the pump. Good tackle by Daniel Lloyd, and we've got a stoppage just outside 50.
Still got 6 forwards, Nick, as St Kilda have, but they all run back towards goal. The kicker still needs someone to come towards him. They can't all trail back towards goal, looking for the one over the top.
Back towards the centre of the ground. Good effort, a good attempt to mark by Carlisle is unsuccessful. Giants go in towards half forward now. Cameron is lurking. He didn't get a kind bounce. Savage and Co did. The hand pass was shot out from White. Now wide towards Savage. He's tucked in the back pocket. He goes short and he finds Seb Ross.
And he's got some space, has Ross. McCartan makes space. Can't take the mark off. Hands long. Good gather. Shook him off. Shook off. Whitfield goes long. Goal square. Great grab. Gresham will line up from 15 metres out and should nail the first of the afternoon.
We're probably going to harp on it all day, Dwayne, but even numbers in front of the footy allows you to compete. We saw Paddy McCartan there. It wasn't a great kick from Seb Ross. It was on his head as opposed to out in front, but just competing, getting it to ground. It was a great crumb from long, and even numbers gives you a chance.
Gee, that's a lucky kick that just squeezes inside the goalpost by a coat of paint. Wow.
Great play by St Kilda, though. The run off half-back, that drive, that run they're able to produce. Savage changing the angle with his kick, gets the ball to here, but then it's working in pairs. I think is the most important thing. You see Long there, hitting the contest with speed, breaks away from Whitfield, and then kicks to advantage to Gresham. So that was what would please the players, number one, that they got some shape around the contest, but the coaching staff upstairs with the changes they've made for this week's game.
Good start by the Saints. Gresham gets his first and his 6th for the season as we go back in the middle. With big Dawson Simpson, who didn't even jump for that one. It was left to Tom Hickey, who's playing his 2nd game for the year. And they'll go through the motion again.
Great work by Savage on that last forward 50 entry from the Giants 2v1 to win the ball. He's got the job deep on Ryan Griffin.
Here's Dylan Shield, was held, so he elects to go short. Not a lot of distance in the kick. The Giants now set to move it forward. Told to go, and they do, and Taranto does. Up towards half forward, and that was a little too easy for Jeremy Cameron.
He was able to cut the angle, and that's where the kick worked out to his advantage. Carlisle was down there as the loose Nick, and then you've got Gilbert on Cameron. So Cameron was able to shake Gilbert, and Carlisle wasn't able to come across and affect the contest, having to step around a couple of players there.
Directly in front, 35 out. No problems at all for Jeremy Cameron. The quick reply.
Well, it looked like that entry was just going to go straight down Jake Carlisle's throat, really. He'd made great position, but we saw Jeremy Cameron just able to slip Sam Gilbert off to the side, and you're always in a difficult situation as a player sitting under the ball because your peripheral vision doesn't really allow you to see Cameron coming from the side like that. But Gilbert just needed to find some body work.
And a statement from Carlisle, I think, as well. He could have really come through there, created a big contest on Cameron in a fair way, because he would have been coming at the footy, eyes on it, and that would have just sent a huge statement, I think, for the Saints players.
Record bounce.
That is difficult, though, when a forward's floating in from the side. You only pick them up at the last minute, and I felt like on that occasion, Carlisle just thought he was going to take an uncontested mark.
Yeah, Sam Gilbert, the Saints' most experienced player. In fact, he plays his 200th game next week. They need him to do the job on Cameron this afternoon, given that's his assignment. Good hard tackle laid by Hickey. Toby Green going nowhere.
Spot on, Sandy, and I must agree. Gilbert, his sole job is to keep his opponent in Jeremy Cameron on the ground. Then you've got the luxury of Carlisle being able to float around. If he doesn't keep Cameron grounded, could be strife.
Alistair Lynch on the boundary. Akers got away with it. Looping handball to Geary. The 1-2 works nicely. Sinclair chip kick. Long had an impact early. Carlisle with time to use it wisely. Flicks it over the top to Steele. Good mark, looking over his shoulder. Long ran for him. He goes central. Gresham, the target again, gets up there. Almost plucked it. He pulled it down. Was hoping the umpire might have been blindsided and pay it to him. De Boer hacks it away after Lloyd gave it to him. But Savage, no, he doesn't hold it. Nearly completed the deal, but it's out of play. But you can tell the confidence level of the Saints is a lot higher than it was last week at the Cattery.
Well, it's probably the situation where you love Jay Gresham's attack on the footy, but you got the ruckman in front of you. I'm not sure you need the forward pocket sitting on the ruckman's head.
Eyes light up sometimes, Nick. You just have a crack at it.
Don't stifle the beauty of it.
You're talking about ambition and ability, perhaps, Nick.
He's got the ability. Don't worry about that.
Well, here they go again. Akers gets a low, flat pass in towards the centre of the ground. Whitfield was absolutely dumped. But they're going to come away with the footy unless Gilbert can stop it. He can't. Taranto could receive, but he's not in a position, so Shield goes wide. Haynes is there, and he takes the mark. Haynes is just forward of centre.
What about the tackle from Weller?
Yeah. Up towards half forward, chopped off once again, however, by Brown, who was very good last week against Hawkins. Weller. Back in the side this week. Comes wide to the wing, looking for Akers again. Haynes is at the back, has partly smothered and then almost stolen. Taranto working hard at the bottom of the pack. And we'll have a stoppage here on centre wing. They're giving plenty of time. No, he's going to let it go. Haynes does get it out. Goes straight to Long. Long tumbles a punt kick up towards the half-forward line. Gresham was a target. He needs support. Gets it now. Out wide, McCartan gives the hand pass. Gresham needs a kind bounce. Not going to get it. And with numbers, it's going to be the Giants that get out of trouble through Shaw.
Heads out wide to Tomlinson. Ross puts the pressure on him. Keeps the ball in the area. Membry shrugged in that tackle attempt, but good to see him back in the lineup after the knee worry. Shaw tries to hack it out of the area. Cameron just knocked it towards the boundary, and the umpire says toss it in.
It's going to turn into an important matchup now for both teams. Heath Shaw versus Gresham is going to be big. Look, this is a big bump here by Aidan Corr coming in, taking him off the line, knowing he had the support behind him, but it's just an important job there. They keep Heath Shaw as deep as they possibly can, and that's the tackle you're talking about from Weller onto Whitfield.
And you're spot on about the bump. The bump still lives in our game, but he ran past the ball to bump, and when you do that, you have to make sure you hit them fairly, otherwise you're in trouble. That would have been a free kick, but he did it wisely there. Simpson, Hickey, flick down, Shield direction. Good pressure again from Ross. De Boer flicks it away. Finlayson. Green, good hands. And he heads long. Cameron's his target. In seat 1A, and he takes a great grab.
Well, when you've got the +1, you need to be very, very careful with your positioning. And Jake Carlisle was just the skill of Finlayson to be able to hit up on the lead on that occasion. And Carlisle was right there. It had to be absolutely perfect. And once they were able to hit that kick, they'd bypass St Kilda's extra player, and it was one-on-ones inside 50.
For his second. It'll work back a little, but it won't work back enough. Only a behind.
2 points the margin. Just over 9 minutes played. White to bring it back into play. Goes to the outer side. And the target was Akers. Takes a good mark, good contested mark. Here's trouble for Clark. Real trouble. And he's going to lose it. Cornelio in game number 100. And great to see after the rough year he had last year. Carlisle. Might be a free kick. And well, the advantage is, yes, it's going to be paid. And so he goes laterally to Ross. Ross's kick has got to be good. It is to Hickey. Still on half back. Hickey's kick towards centre wing, towards McCartan, edged out of it by Davis. Davis, short little pass, hardly had the required distance, but they've got the numbers. Davis says, give it back to me, so he does take it from Hopper, and that'll be a free kick to Whitfield. The advantage is going to be paid. De Boer shoots in towards full forward. Is it going to go over the top? Green is there as well. Can't get a boot to it initially. He goes again, and it's spooned through for one behind.
There's a couple of big hits now on Lockie Whitfield in this game. Weller the big tackle, and that one was Brandon White coming over the top with a big spoil.
That was a 1970s spoil from Brandon White. I think a few fans at home would have enjoyed it. I'm not sure Whitfield did. Billings was the man who had it at half back. A little bit of an in the back. And the umpire spotted it.
Sputtle always refers to those as ear massages.
Yes. Yeah. Here it is again. Yeah, that's the. He knew where the Sherrin was, and he knew where his ear was. And he got a little bit of both. Along the boundary and wide. McCartan got there late. And the ball flicked toward the boundary. We'll get a ball in.
Willing contest so far. Both teams are up for the fight. Very physical. Bodies flying. Both coaches would be pretty happy with what they've seen so far.
Giants, the team to beat so far this year. Top of the ladder right now. 3 wins, 1 loss. Good percentage. Hickey flicks it wide. This would be huge if the Saints could get this win. Akers looks up, not a lot to go to. Had to go back to Stephen, to Geary. Bouncing ball, but he gathered it nicely to Nunes. He looks up, bangs it long. High ball. Can McCartan get there for the contest? Does. Got it to ground. Gresham had a chance at it. Poor bounce, though. Flicked away from him. Good pressure. Whitfield being hunted. Wobbly kick in the Griffin direction. Hassled away from it and tackled by White. Put his body on the line. Shield gets away with it. Bangs the ball towards the wing. Everything under pressure. Caulfield. Good grab for the Saints.
So the young man playing just his 3rd game. Goes wide to his skipper. Geary marks just forward of the wing. Was very good last week against the Cats. Led by example in towards the pocket region. No one cleanly. Reid was clean bowled. De Boer tries to lock it up.
That's the thing with St Kilda having the 6 forwards so far in this first quarter. They've done well around clearance once again, which they've been dominant in for most of the season, St Kilda. And then when they get the ball inside 50, they can compete one-on-one. They then make it 2v2, make it difficult for the Giants to exit D50 effectively.
Hickey with the left hand. Cornelio got it out. The St Kilda tackling was very good by Clark and also Jack Stephen. Not out of it yet. Stephen gives it away now. Inboard. Akers intercepted. The hand pass. Akers gets another chance. He soccers off the ground. Luck's of fortune as the mark is taken just outside 50 by Nunes. Jack's kick is perfect. That's better. So Billings is going to go back now. 35 out. Almost directly in front.
Well, that's the other piece of the puzzle. Having even numbers in there gives you a chance to compete, but you still need to use the footy well. And Jack Nunes did exactly that on that occasion. He pushed back hard off the mark. His eyes were looking forward, being able to survey the situation, and Jack Billings had released hard and found some great space.
Let's see if he can finish it off. He's away to the right, and that's an opportunity going begging.
Just looked like he got a little bit too close to the man on the mark. That time, Jack Billings.
It's his floor. Set shot accuracy last year, 42%. Got to be better than that. Big fly from Haynes.
Well, that's hurt both Cameron and Haynes with that push from Savage on Jeremy Cameron.
Keep an eye on this because he looks in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Does Nick Haynes.
So here it is. There's the push away in the contest. Oh, it's a big collision.
In a thigh here, I think. Collects.
A decent corky, I think it is.
No, I think you might be right, Lynchy. You're about 8 metres away from it. Cameron towards the wing. Dawson Simpson looks around. Carlisle thought he was going to be able to grab it. Quick thinking from Green, kept it alive, maybe to his detriment. Carlisle's got it, but in turn got by Hopper. And the ball up a couple of metres in from the boundary. Simpson again. Deledio, good wing tackle. Got a kick somehow. Cornelio in game 100. Called to play on, not the required distance. Akers did well. Knew the contact was coming. Good smother. This time it's Steele. Nunes, he had his chance. Hopper stripped in, picked up by Shield. Gave it to Deledio. Everything hot right now. Tomlinson to Taranto. Did he duck into that? He's gone if he's not. Did he duck into it? I think the umpire deemed that he ducked, and that could even be ball if you do that.
The umpire did say ball popped out. He's gone for the balk here. Didn't sell any candy on that occasion. That's a big tackle.
Akers.
It has to be holding the ball, that.
Yeah. Haynes has recovered, which is good news. Whitfield round the body of the left foot, straight down the throat of Hopper. Taranto towards Shield. He's got a problem, but he gets rid of the football and does it beautifully. Towards Tomlinson. Now they're away. Whitfield, long kick up towards the half-forward line. 2 bites of the cherry, but that's all right. White takes the mark. Plays on quickly, gives it to Gilbert. As Dwayne said, a major milestone next week. Been a long time coming. His 200th game, Gilbert. Having made his debut in 2006. A 2-point ball game. The Saints certainly faring much better and playing much better than they did early last week.
Yeah, they're getting some good run at the moment from Akers and Stevens. Important player for them, Dwayne. Haynes there.
Absolutely.
Big
He looks in a bit of trouble still.
Still limping away.
He's got a big injury history as well. He'd be hating the fact that he might have to come off here. Back into play. Simpson knocks it down. Good stripping tackle on Cornelio. Ball, the call, and Jack Stephen enjoying his day at the office so far. Looks up. He's got a couple of options. Membry and McCartan. Keeps it low. McCartan's up. Hands were chopped. No free. Umpire said play on. Finlayson, the umpire said got all ball. White goes hard. Keeps it in the area. Slates him hard. Bumps and tackles so far in this game, Brandon White, but he's making his presence felt.
It's a high pressure game so far. A lot of collisions, a lot of tackles.
Oh, he's going to have to come off.
Look at this.
Yeah, making his presence felt in more ways than one.
Hasn't been seen yet from the umpires.
Will be any minute, Brandon White.
So.
Play goes on for Savage to the outer side. Akers already has picked up 7 disposals, along with Jack Stephen, and Dylan Shield has 7 for the Giants.
The pressure is certainly up from both teams. St Kilda doing really well. That last forward 50 entry from Jack Stevens, he had to pull the trigger a lot quicker. What they've done, either Gresham or McCartan are staying at the top of the goal square, so they can pull the trigger knowing someone's going to be there.
He actually tried to tell the umpire then, Marshall, that he had some blood, but
he
didn't listen to him, so he's gone back to his position. Still hasn't called for a trainer either to come and help deal with the situation.
Stephen kicked wide to Membry. It was high, but he couldn't complete the mark. An opportunity for Finlayson to go short to Shield. Shield stabs the pass up towards centre half forward, towards Tomlinson. This is dangerous now. Cameron, one grab, couldn't complete the mark. Turned back into trouble, managed to get a kick away. Going across the face of goal and eventually through for one behind.
Sorry, I said Marshall. It's Brandon White with the issue. Here we go. The blood rule coming off. Bit of friendly fire. Cops one over the top there from Jack Stephen. Just the knee to the head.
A couple of soldiers down, the Saints. Dylan Robertson, that horrific collapse last week. Josh Bruce, Jimmy Webster. But the Giants likewise with a couple of their guns out. Josh Kelly, Tom Scully, Rory Lobb, Zach Williams as well.
Some guns there.
Absolutely. Oh. They've got some depth,
haven't they?
The Giants, and that's probably why they're a lot of people's pick for the flag this year. 2 preliminary finals the last 2 years, yet to make a grand final. Long bomb towards Hickey. Second game, back into the lineup. Couldn't take the mark there. Carlisle. Toe off the deck. Might not work from Weller. Also back into the lineup after some good form in the VFL last week with 25 possessions, and White getting the red removed.
saw Haynes come to the bench there. Yeah. Lynchy, he looked like he was hobbling a fair bit, in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think it's from that corky a couple of minutes ago. He's struggling to really get moving, so it'll be an interesting few minutes, because if that cools down, he mightn't start again for the rest of the day.
Hickey off the ground. Nunes combines with Billings. Up towards half forward. The bounce not a kind one for Gresham. Also there was Sam Reid defending, and we've got a throw.
When he's an important player to the Giants, Haynes, he really has allowed Finlayson to be that good ball user off half back, and we saw Stewart last week for the Cats. He really sliced them up across half back, so important they get him back out there from a Giants point of view.
We'll look again at the bump that has caused his problems. Hickey out of the air, the bounce not kind, good for Shaw, however, and the Giants will get out of trouble towards Ward, who's running through half back, goes over the top to De Boer, who's got a bit of space, puts the foot down on the accelerator, goes long, penetrating kick up towards the forward line, perfect passage of play, and Griffin is on the end of it.
It was perfect ball movement and perfect moving from the key forwards. Jeremy Cameron came up at the ball carrier, allowing Griffin to run back into space, so well coordinated. 2
goals last week, and great to see him back and back in some form. 35 out, 45-degree angle. Ryan Griffin stabs at that and puts it through. He's got his first.
Lynchy was spot on with the description there. You can see that's Ryan Griffin. He's a direct opponent coming back towards goal as the ball gets the free run through the corridor. There goes Cameron, pops into the lead up, and Griffin had already taken the attention of De Boer, and it was a great kick to space, as you can see there. And that's the type of tsunami run we talk about a fair bit from the Giants, and it's the first time this afternoon they've been able to break through off half back.
Mr. Year of Footy, 31-year-old Ryan Griffin. 11 possession, 2-goal, 2 return to footy last week against Fremantle. On the scoreboard here as scramble kick from Taranto doesn't travel forward. Simpson on hands and knees. Ross picked it up, went out in the Delidio direction. Weller hassles him and hassles him well. Stays in the area. Umpire gives them time. Little hush has fallen around Etihad Stadium. Saints won the last clash between these two teams by 23 points, round 7 last year. They talked about that pre-game. Replicate that performance, and they have with their attack on the ball in this contest so far. Dunstan got it from Steele and kicks it inside 50. And Hickey can have the shot from the 50.
Great spread there from Hickey. He was able to push out really hard from the contest and got away from Simpson, and no one from GWS went with him. That's what he needs to do.
Free kick downfield here. A high free. Oh, it's a turnover. It's been turned over. So was it Akers the culprit? Our cameramen seem to think it was.
I think it was.
Yep.
Wow. When scoring's been an issue, you don't want to be giving up opportunities like that.
And you're Tom Hickey. You're coming off a 5-game no-goal season last year. You haven't kicked one this year. You finally get a set shot, and you don't get to take it. Gilbert lays the tackle on the wing.
He took a few steps towards goal too, Hickey. He thought he had to lay down was there after a 50-metre penalty, but rude shock when it got turned around.
Oh, dear. Thrown up once again. Shield tries to lock it up. Does come out. Saints would dearly love one here. Well, they've got it in the vicinity. Akers will be the flyer. Well, he ended up staying at the back of the pack eventually. That was Himmelberg.
They've evened things up down back now. Of the GWS forwards have evened things up with St Kilda's backs. They've thrown their 6 forwards forward. Carlisle's no longer a spare in the last 4 minutes of play.
Lynchy, you've got an update on Haynes?
Yeah, as you can see, Nick Haynes is just doing a bit of a warm-up on the boundary line. He hasn't convinced me yet. I wouldn't be putting him on. I think he's a couple of minutes away.
Snap in towards full forward. The bounce, finding the woodwork, and one behind. Saints down by 8 points.
Well, surprisingly, Nick Haynes has convinced the physio he's going to return to the ground, so it'll be a close watch by the St Kilda coaching staff, I would have thought, and medical staff in his first few minutes on the ground.
And you too, Lynchy, seeing you reckon he's not ready to go. Here you go, the Giants forward once again. Deledio was the link man and pushed over the line by the man who's had a bit of work done, Brandon White.
This is where you need to be smart as an opposition, though. With Haynes coming back on, take him to a spot where you're going to be able to run him around, because he's not going to be able to go with you with the limp and strapping that you can see there. And he's dealing with a few issues. So you try and get him going, and you might be able to take the advantage from that.
Hickey didn't get a lot on it. Taranto tried to spoon it back. Out the back door was Ward. Tumbles a punt past De Boer. Geary is there for the Saints. Just pushed it forward, but then lost it. Well done by Dunstan. Here's the youngster in Caulfield in towards the middle, finding Ross. Seb Ross has a look downfield now. He wants Billings. He's quick to recover. Shaw's on his hammer. Takes him to ground. And over the line. We've got a throw in.
He's groggy, Nunes. Yeah. He's in a lot of trouble, Nunes. It was a head clash. Or hip to head. And he took a long time to get up. And he's a pretty tough nut, is Jack Nunes. Hasn't missed a game for 4 seasons. He doesn't miss very often, but we'll have to have a concussion test, you would think, during the break here. Hopper wrapped up in the tackle.
Looked like both players were going for the ball, though.
Yeah, right? Yeah. More concerned about his injury for the Saints than the match review officer Monday. From the scramble, Ward had it, lost it. Patton lends a hand in defence. Reed's got it. Half back flank. Pumps it towards the wing. Cameron flies. Geary over the back to mop it up. He's got Gresham inside. He elected not to go to Gresham. Went to Brown. Went outside to Savage. Now Caulfield to do the delivery. Drives it long. Sits it on the big man. Off hands. Long got a little handball up. Akers who owes them one. Gresham a little slip. Might still work for Weller. Couldn't get it through traffic. Akers still knocks it on. Chance here for Hunter Clark. And he's back into the lineup and back amongst the goals.
And great release from the St Kilda small forwards. We could see they got all the way up into the middle of the ground, and it was Gresham who was right in the centre square when Geary won the ball at half-back. He didn't get used. That's where you'd like to be able to bring the ball inside. But as a small forward, you have to be able to release, get back inside 50 to be able to apply the sort of pressure that we just saw then. And when you have numbers, you're able to get numbers around the ball. Inevitably, you're going to be able to turn it over and create those sort of opportunities.
Special moment for Hunter Clark. He's got his second goal this season, just his 3rd game, and we've got a 2-point ball game.
The 2 young boys involved there. Caulfield's run, dash across half-back looked really exciting, and Clark with the finish.
Hickey belts it about 15 or 20 metres, and it's going to be kept in the vicinity. No, eventually taken away by Deledio, the 31-year-old veteran. Suddenly, the Giants are back deep into attack once again. Lloyd, outside 50. It's a poor kick, a very poor kick. Can they get out of it? Stephen has it now, gives it off towards Dunstan. Dunstan goes wide to the outer side. They've got players running. Hickey's calling for it. The big man wants it down on the half-forward line. He's got it. Hickey wastes no time, gets underneath a drop punt. It's high, difficult one to grab. The Giants defenders are there in force. Reed comes barnstorming through, tries to get it across towards a teammate there in Patton. Patton goes wider again towards Lloyd, and eventually it's Whitfield who takes it away for the Giants.
Goes inside, nice delivery. Himmelberg can go. He's got Green outside. He ignored that. Goes a little wider. Might still work for them. Chip kick to De Boer. Just beyond his range. He's still got Green, and he's got a couple of options. One of them was Ward. They had the overlap the whole way down there. Just depends on who was going to pull out the winning ticket in the raffle. And Callum Ward can go back and have a crack at his first goal of the year.
And that'll be the argument in the St Kilda coaches box. Yes, they've got their 6 forwards and haven't got too much protection, as much protection as we've seen up the ground. And on flow like that, they just got caught out with all their forwards behind the ball.
Massive star, Callum Ward now. Game 197. That was for goal 100.
I don't think you can set up, I don't think you can set up for bad decisions, though, and skill errors. And really, Tom Hickey had 3 one-on-ones in front of him, but he just rushed it. There was a lack of composure there. So you'd like to have a much better entry, given what you had in front of the ball, to prevent that sort of situation where the opposition goes coast to coast.
Savage brings it in, going very, very short to Caulfield inside the last minute. And I think St Kilda will be well satisfied with this first quarter. White called to move it on, and he does. Towards centre wing, McCartan's a long way from home. Giants with the numbers. Ward can go into the middle. He does, finding Taranto. Taranto moves it on quickly to Cameron. He's got Haynes laterally if he wants him. He had a look, but then decided no. He'll just go short and chip it down as the clock ticks down. 14 plays 17. The Giants leading. In towards half forward once again. No mark being paid, and the umpire's going to come in and take control. A stoppage between wing and half forward. Callum Ward has been a sensational player for the Giants. Thrown up once again. Simpson there, Hickey. Dunstan couldn't take it cleanly. Caulfield was there, and Shield comes bursting through. Touch of class. Swings back, but give him a wrap, and that's what happens. Straight out of bounds on the full. Thank you, Dylan.
Next timing hold, please.
Nothing crazy here for the Saints. Didn't need to necessarily go back. Only a few seconds left on the clock, but the resurrection game for the Saints, perhaps, who've seen a few teams this season bounce back in emphatic style in front of their home fans. They want to try and knock off the top dogs here at Etihad Stadium this afternoon. The Saints at a quarter time.
Let's see what the Saints can do. They're down by just 3 points. A different looking side from the one we saw last week as Simpson wins it straight down towards Dunstan, who gives it to Stephen. Jack Stevens' kick is good to Weller. Weller marks between half forward and the wing. Has a look downfield to see what's on offer, then decides to head towards McCartan, who had front spot in front of the pack. Gresham, a good tackle. An excellent tackle to hold that ball up. Simpson does the shepherding. Whitfield comes away with the footy. Assistance from Finlayson back towards the half-back line. Geary is there. Gets his kick. Called to go. Weller, because it wasn't 15. Geary has run on down. Centering ball to the top of the square. How's it going to land? An excellent mark taken by Phil Davis.
Again, the Saints have brought the pressure to start this second term, though. Brown from behind gets the knuckles on it. There's been plenty of knuckles in this one. Akers to Savage. Thought about bombing it. Thinks about it again. Good shake and bake, and found a chest rather than the open kick to the top of the square. Good option. Big kick this for Billings. We know he's wasted a few this season and in his career. His set shot accuracy, as I mentioned earlier, when he missed one, just 42% last year. But his general play accuracy, 38%. He knows this is huge. This is for the lead. And to build some more confidence. Struck it thin, was never a chance. Only a behind.
Quiet start by Jack's standards today. So the Saints doing it 1 by 1, 2-3 to 2-5, 2-point ball game. Davis, a fine leader. Gives it back towards Core. Goes up towards the wing. Gilbert's alone at the back. Proppy hand pass is going to be okay, and the Saints can set something up here to Dunstan, but the kick is errant. Haynes chipping in. Now Shields away. That booming left foot kick towards Cameron. The diving mark is going to be paid, and he's going to have a shot. 40 out, almost directly in front.
They both slipped over, and Cameron was able to recover the quickest. A little bit sore there on the shoulder after that contest, diving forward. Shield with the kick in here. Brown loses his feet.
Right there.
And Cameron's able to then take position. Just get squashed in a little bit on that shoulder. Oh, there it is. The knee coming in afterwards.
It's been a little untidy,
what hurt Jeremy Cameron.
A couple of shots in the first term for a 1-1 return. And now make that 1 goal 2. So the opportunities are there for Jeremy Cameron.
Well, both sides have had the chances to really assert themselves on the contest and develop a little bit of scoreboard pressure, but
dangerous kick in towards Seb Ross. He's got some work to do now. He picks it up and scoops it out. They're not out of the danger zone yet. It comes towards Carlisle. He fumbles over the line.
That's better pressure from GWS forwards. Toby Green just wasn't able to be as clean as we're used to seeing him on that occasion to really punish St Kilda, but they've locked it inside forward 50.
Hickey, Dawson Simpson, little paddle down. Billings thought he had it. Shield picked it up, bends it back, hits a good spot, top of the goal square. So it's Saints free to White. And you mentioned Danny Frawley earlier, Nick Rewalt. There is a theory that the make him earn it factor, like White did on Jeremy Cameron, does shake a player up before he's about to have a shot at goal, and it maybe shook him up there. He's still a little hurt out there, Jeremy Cameron, feeling that shoulder as Hickey gets a free. Play on to advantage. Membry. First big grab for him for the afternoon. He's about to send it forward. Long's on the march. Just sat it on him a little. Finlayson tried to claim the mark. Weller's about to pounce. Gave it back again. Could have gone inside. High kick. McCartan gets there. Deledio. Fantastic hands. Billings
worked so hard through that passage of play and wasn't rewarded. He was the one who released, kicked, was free to come back in board on the left, was free again then with the shot, the pass inside forward 50. They ignored him. Could have been having a shot for goal then, the Saints.
Core goes down towards Patton at centre wing. The general. Well, not 15.
Wow.
Let's not buy a block of land from him. Here's Akers. Smothered. Patton again. Davis pulls it round the body towards Griffin. Gilbert is right there with him. In fact, Gilbert beats him on this occasion. He got one in the back, so there'll be a free kick downfield. Advantage is not going to be paid.
Oh, wow.
Should it have been paid?
Well, if the push is on the kick, it comes back to where the kick happened. That's right, isn't it, Sandy? So therefore, if it's after the kick, then it is downfield.
But if the kick lands on a teammate's chest,
it usually doesn't matter.
Well, here's the kick from Billings. It is away to the left and through for one behind.
Well, the Saints members were filthy. Now they're even worse after this one wasn't paid downfield.
Push on the kick, so that should come back. I agree. If it goes to your team, and it's the advantage should be paid to where it lands. But generally on the kick, the ball does come back to where the infringement happened.
And in some sports, they're not so pedantic. They let it roll and see if it is an advantage first as Shaw takes the mark. And you can pull it back after a kick if it doesn't end up advantaging a team. Gresham had a piece of it. De Boer now gets it. Billings wanted a piece of him. Shove it out towards Whitfield. Got some space. Green normally uses it well. Flicks it over the top. Bouncing ball. Lloyd funneled it on. Back to Whitfield. There's that run. Yeah. It's got Griffin goal square. Heads in his direction. Well, Cameron's there in the pocket instead. Hands it to Griffin. Open goal square. And they get one against the grain. 2-goal swing on that.
Well, again, it looks like Gilbert's had a bit of trouble finding his feet. It can be a pretty slippery deck Eddie had, and Jeremy Cameron just a few times been able to slip him, whether it's a bit of body work and he's just lost him in transit, or he's actually just lost his footing altogether. It's become a bit of an issue for him.
What about the run there from Whitfield as well? He started that chain at half back, and then he's the one delivering the ball inside forward 50 to Cameron.
Ryan Griffin, 2 goals last week against the Dockers, 2 goals so far today. 16 plays 24, once again back out to an 8-point advantage for the Giants. Hickey to set himself against the 210-centimetre tall Simpson. Ross out of the middle for the Saints, down towards the half-forward line. Fisted clear. Haynes, a proppy Haynes. Deliberate. Yes. Jack Billings will swing round onto that left foot, and he does. To the top of the square he goes, and McCartan is in front this time. He takes the mark. Big Paddy. His accuracy has left a lot to be desired this season, but he's got an opportunity here if Tom Hickey can just settle down.
Well, he has to, because they've already given one away when he was having a shot at goal in the first quarter. So they've got to be careful there, the Saints. They can't afford to not have these opportunities in this game where GWS has started this quarter really well.
Here comes McCartan for the quick reply. 45-degree, and he's missed again. As I mentioned, his percentage accuracy is at a very low 38%.
That ball drop was horrendous for a man that plies his trade in front of goals. That was terrible.
He just looked really careful, Lynchy.
He's had a hard week. He had his house broken into and his car stolen.
Fair call.
Steele thought he had it. Akers now blasted towards goal. Wide, McCartan under it. 3 against him, Membry. He might get another chance here, Paddy McCartan. He's had a sider. He can put this in the book. Horrific set shot accuracy rate, but surely after that last sider that he's had,
Banana.
bend this with ease, and it's in the book, and the Saints have some momentum back.
We'll just take it back to the opportunity before with Paddy McCartan. We see him, he's just out of screen here, but the change for Paddy on this play is he's not starting deep and then just coming at the ball on his head. He's actually running a little loop. We see him work back to the square and then come back at the footy. And that's far more effective in losing your defender. They're not able to just watch you and watch the ball at the same time. They have to turn their heads, and that's how he lost him.
So McCartan has the Saints' first goal in this second term. And they're staying in touch. A 1-point ball game. Hickey tried to poke it out the back. Then he goes and gets a second attempt. Slews off the side of the boot. The bounce needs to be kind for De Boer. It wasn't, but he's got support in the form of Green. Toby's hand pass into the middle to Whitfield. He gets it quickly across towards Cornelio in his 100th. They go charging forward once again. Use of the body was good. And the Saints are going to come away through White. The bandaged up, banged up White goes towards centre wing. The Gilbert hand pass, interesting to say the least, and it could be very costly. Callum Ward tries to thread the eye of the needle, gives it to Dylan Shield. He lines up and heads towards goal, but he's away to the left and through for one behind.
I like that they're trying to flick the ball around the Saints and be a little bit more creative, but sometimes when you're under pressure like that on the half-back line and you know you've got even numbers in front of the ball, well, you can just release it with confidence and clear the dangerous area.
White in the back pocket. Down the line towards McCartan. Davis is there to affect the spoil with a big left fist. And he's going to get a free kick.
Not sure that was there.
No, deemed high. So he goes towards Ward, who marks still 65 metres from home. Just pops it up and lets his forwards do the work. Carlisle says, I'll do it for the Saints, and he does.
Not sure Hickey's your go-to man for the run and carry from defence, but he did really well there. Sinclair long. McCartan in a one-on-one. Hasn't had a one-on-one for a couple of weeks. From the top of the 50, McCartan's back in form, and the Saints are back in front.
Big goal. That actually reminded me of their first goal in the summer last year, where it was everyone was talking about the Saints are going to use the corridor more and get down the middle. And this is why they should, because they've got some big targets up forward. And that's a brilliant kick to a one-on-one. Well played by McCartan. Gets away with it. Protects the drop zone. And now he's got a couple in a row for the Saints. They're back alive in this second quarter.
Once again, we saw Paddy McCartan on that occasion starting at the top of the 50. Phil Davis was 30 metres in front of him and it was easily held out and allowed the ball to run towards goal. It was an easy goal from McCartan, and then in the end, great setup.
It might be first against 16th, but you'd never know it. Patton is doing the ruck work for the Giants. He decides to go and try and get it himself, but he overruns the footy. Taranto locks it up, and we've got a stoppage.
He did it well there, Paddy, because when you've got the sit, it can be a real temptation to actually run and launch at the ball, and I thought he was really composed just to get enough body on Davis without giving away a free kick, just to get him in the perfect position for it to spill over the top.
Whitfield and Shield combine. He goes wide to De Boer, back towards Shield, who tried to just tap it out the back. The only one there was Akers. Now Geary accepts the hand pass and goes short to Gresham. He's called to play on, and he does. Saints go charging forward through Weller. He gives it to Long, back to Weller. 55 from home. You've run your full distance. He's got to kick a goal. He's got to take a mark, but he can't, big Paddy. And he sees it sail over the top. One behind. This is what we want to see, a contest.
Had a couple of options there, Weller. One was the pass to McCartan. The other was kick the goal. Didn't either. Hopper marks on defensive 50. Shaw as the spread heads wide. Chip kick inside, so a bit of possession football, Himmelberg. Griffin playing out a full forward. Patton forward, waiting for the long bomb. Goes back by hand to Shaw. Taranto. Trying to show some poise at the moment. Jeremy Cameron led short. That was ignored. He goes to Shaw again.
GWS are just refusing to kick it to where they're outnumbered.
Inside with the kick. That's a nice delivery to Reed. He's got the run outside or the pass option inside. May have turned it over here. Carlisle had it, lost it, goes back to try and mop up his mess. Comes to Hopper, normally pounces, doesn't here, wastes it.
Missed their last 3 shots, the Giants, and that's where you can't afford to fumble in your back 50. The fumble there from Carlisle, and then they just swarm the Giants. Not able to capitalise though.
Jack Stephen running out of defence, bouncing his way towards the half-back line, kicks in towards centre wing. It's a 2-on-1, almost 3-on-1 in favour of the Giants. Now coming to meet it is Long. He's taken to ground by Patton. He's slung to the turf. Whitfield is on the receiving end. He passes to half-forward. Kick is good, and the mark is taken by Cornelio in his 100th game.
Starting to build some good numbers now. Cornelio having a fantastic season, up to 11. Dylan Shield, he leads the way with 14 for GWS.
Akers 14 for the Saints. Had such a shocking run last year, Stephen Cornelio. It's wonderful to see him back and playing well. Fancies his chances. He's going to be kicking from 55. No problems with the distance. No problems at all. And 3 for 1 behind.
This is where they've been really strong so far this year, GWS. A lot of teams come for them and they set themselves for the Giants. We know that. We saw Collingwood serve it up to them at the MCG, Fremantle up in Canberra, but they just hang in there. And that's the noticeable difference, I think, with the Giants this year, is they just hang in games when things aren't going their way a lot better.
Haynes, good grab to Taranto, missed his target. Carlisle thought about getting and going. He has to go back. McCartan got a hit to the head in that last contest. He ran out as well, shook it off, and he's fine, which is great news given his concussion history.
Spot on, Dwayne. That was a pretty heavy hit. He went down low, good clash of heads, but he got up.
Yeah, and he looks as if he's confident that he's fine as well. He had the water boy or water girl come out to him, Paddy McCartan, and everything looks fine.
Well, he certainly had no issues when he went in and bounces straight up, which is the really encouraging thing, because that was a solid hit to the head.
Yeah, round 14 last year, it was season over for him because of the concussion. So things are looking up here for the Saints. Alan Richardson, St Kilda coach, said McCartan turned the corner last week and he was outnumbered almost every time he went near the ball. He's getting plenty of one-on-ones today as this ball rolls out of play, and we'll get a ball in. Nick Rewalt.
And the Giants have freed up Himmelberg, so he's gone back as the 7th defender. So there is an outnumber. St Kilda have the 6 forwards in front of the ball. It's the Giants that have just initiated that and sent the forward in Himmelberg behind the ball.
16.5 minutes gone. And once again, it's Deledio. Goes down towards half forward. Green stabs it in towards Cameron territory, but the numbers are with Carlisle and the Saints.
And that's the man who's free at the other end.
Savage short. Fine to Sinclair. It may go back from whence it came. In fact, even further to Carlisle and Savage. So they're each picking up a couple of disposals in that passage of play. Now to the outer side. Dunstan again. Towards centre wing. Stephen gets clear and he's away. 2 bounces as Jackie Boy heads towards the forward line. 3 and he looks up inside 50. A high ball. Gresham waits down. No mark taken. Gresham is lurking there. Can't take it. Picked up by Shaw. He gets a hurry kick down towards the half-back line and the mark is taken by Lloyd.
Hickey did thought he was doing the right thing then to come back to Stephen to block for him. He needed to go the other way. Give the space to Stephen to run into.
Good pick-off mark by Caulfield, and then he dishes it back to Haynes with ease. Finlayson. Tomlinson. Big 7 minutes coming up here to half-time. The Saints have the momentum. They have the lead. Can they hold it? Can they extend it? Gresham might cut this off. Made the contest. Himmelberg stripped of it. Weller gave it to Gresham. Tried to go back inside. Flicked it to Ross. That'll work. From 50 on his left. Needs a bounce. Doesn't get it.
St Kilda are setting up really well behind the ball early, so it's slowing the ball movement off halfback from GWS and causing those sort of mistakes.
267th game for Heath Shaw as he puts De Boer under some pressure. Well done by White. And now Ross struggling to keep it into play. Goes down towards St. Double. Billings had it. Shaw comes away. Down towards his teammate there in De Boer. Couldn't take it. Dunstan takes the mark. Dunstan is inside 50. The angle will challenge him.
So it's where you want to see some work without the ball from the other St Kilda forwards, just to try and create a better opportunity, create a better shot. We know Geelong, Sydney are really good in this situation at finding another little one.
This to give the Saints their biggest lead in the game so far. It's swinging back, but that is a sensational goal. Ho-ho!
Well, Nick, you're probably happy in some ways. He didn't listen to what you were saying, because he did have a couple of leads come at him that were in better situations. But to his credit, he took it on. He took his full 30 and just went bang from one of the toughest spots on the ground to kick a goal. And Luke Dunstan has launched it running away from the goals. The perfect swing. What a kick.
Well, the Saints' inaccuracy has killed them in recent weeks. 7-14 against Geelong last week, 7-13 the week before against Adelaide, 5-13 the week before against North Melbourne. They seem to be on today. Hopper caught in the middle. Big 5.5 minutes coming up here. Biggest lead of the game that the Saints have had right now. 10 points the margin, and the most pressure the Giants have been under. Tomlinson, good strip by Akers, got it to ground. Shield, fantastic attack from both players there. Sinclair caused the turnover to Akers, flicks it wide to Weller. Couple of dance steps and Savage. He sizzles one inside 50. McCartan on the run, good half volley. Brilliant tackle by Davis, brought into ground. Ball in congestion. Saints still a chance here to steal one. Deledio gives it up. Ward under pressure. Gave it back to Simpson under immense pressure. Play on, you heard the call. Geary thumps it down. The Saints converge. Good tackle by Clark. Hunter hunted him down. Deledio around the body. Savage attacks it. Another hip, a shoulder. More bruises. Ball flicked out by Brown. Got it to Akers. He thumps it long. Can Billings get up for the attempt? Whitfield.
We've seen some big 50-50 balls today, Dwayne. There's been some contests where that ball's landed right in the middle. Two players just going straight at it, protecting themselves well and attacking the ball as fierce as they can.
Whitfield towards centre wing once again, and it's smashed down. Deledio works really hard with a good solid tackle. Saints, however, have the numbers. An opportunity for Sinclair. Hurried ball. Doesn't have a lot of distance in it. Weller charges through. He's got it now and he goes high in towards McCartan. Membry is there waiting as well. Membry might get a kind bounce. No, he didn't. He got an absolute shocker. And the Giants should be able to clear in towards De Boer in the middle. Well, he's in trouble, Tomlinson. He's in all sorts of trouble. He's lost the footy. The advantage is played. Billings is away. In towards full forward. And a clever slap towards goal by Shaw. Sees it over the line.
Well, that's just a player in Jack Billings that is low on confidence. He broke 50 metres. He's a beautiful kick of the footy. But he's got the 3 points already today. And he just felt he didn't want to kick a fourth. He didn't have confidence to pull the trigger and have a shot. Great that he looked for a teammate, but there was nothing on.
Simpson over the top. The Giants defence standing firm. Savage, but he's got a teammate coming over the top of him, and it's a good mark to young Caulfield.
He's had a good first half, Caulfield.
He has. Puts them back inside 50 once again. Memory front spot. Got a hand on it, but that was all. In trouble is Hopper towards the line. Flick back in towards half forward, and the mark is going to be paid. And Deledio is going to take it on the last line of defence. Weller's the man on the mark. 3 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. He goes to Shaw and he's away.
Been in good form, Delidio, taking a couple of brilliant saving marks. Shield wants to take on Geary. Couldn't shake him.
Good luck.
Geary did well. Gets it back. Gives it to Ross. Saints fans on their feet right now. They can sense something big happening here. McCartan, speaking of big, goes up. Can't mark it. Ball hits the deck. Savage had a chance. Ball grabbed by Finlayson. Down the spine, he travels to Green. Little knock on, clever. Whitfield looks up. Not a lot to go to. Cameron's the one-on-one. Can he get there, Jeremy? You bet he can.
Another slip over.
Got an awesome pair of hands.
That's brilliant from GWS to respond the way they have. Get the ball back in the corridor. One-on-one Cameron, and Gilbert goes to ground. So the last couple that Cameron's had, Brown went to ground. Now Gilbert as the last line defence. You just can't afford to slip over.
15 seconds.
Been a little dodgy in front of goals.
Comes back to Moulds v Screwins. We talk about it a fair bit. Players don't wear them, but you
It's an argument that goes back to the knock-in stops of the 50s.
You just can't afford that to happen. Your choice of boots is critical.
Kicked 1 goal, 2 so far this afternoon. To steady the ship. And he sneaks it in. Only just.
Well, he actually checked his boots, Sam Gilbert.
He might have the screws on. He might have them on. He might have just slipped over.
We can't make assumptions up here and start shooting bullets at the players, but you're right. It's a couple times now that it's happened, and it's just so critical, particularly on a player like Jeremy Cameron, where he only needs a metre to really inflict some damage on the opposition. And, gee, they had all the play there, the Saints. That was a goal against a run of play.
Back to a 4-point ball game.
And there's the bad news for St Kilda. There's been plenty of positives, but Jack Nunes has been ruled out with that head knock prior to quarter time with concussion.
That is bad news. Thank you, Lynchy. Simpson and Higgy to go at it again. Saints out of the middle, courtesy of Seb Ross. Played really well when the Saints beat the Giants in round 7 last year. Here's Weller. Tried to pull it back, was partly smothered. They've still got the numbers there, however. Jack Stephen was also superb in that game in round 7. Towards McCartan. Davis was there to affect the spoil. Poked it down in front. The defence continues to stand firm. The tackling has been fierce right from the outset. It was almost a new look Saints today compared to the one we saw down the Cattery last week. Thrown out by Ross. An opportunity for Caulfield. Gives it off to Akers. Beautifully smothered by Taranto. He might back up again as the hand pass was shot out by Lloyd. They go wide to the outer side. Delidio towards De Boer. Swings around, goes onto the left foot. Saints have the numbers. Going to ground, and that's an excellent tackle by Brandon White, who caught one in the first term. As you can see by the bandaged head, and he's got Toby Green exactly where he wants him.
Oh, he's given more than he's copped.
Yeah.
Absolutely he has. It's been a huge addition. They've picked 40 from a couple of years ago, 3rd season, and he's got a brutal accidental hitting body on him. Akers goes inside towards Weller, was blocked by the umpire. Free kick. Long. Back inside. Sinclair looks up. 40 seconds and counting. Flicks it out wide. Caulfield's had a good day at the office. Gets an ugly bounce. Gives it up to Carlisle. This is his for the taking. He goes across the face instead. Oh, behind. That would have been massive heading into half-time.
Yep, 29 seconds remaining and counting down. Himmelberg is at half-back. He goes wide to De Boer. De Boer nestled on the half-back flank. Thinks about going short and eventually does to Taranto. So we're going to have no more scoring. Time's going to beat them in this first half. Siren sounds as Taranto kicks up towards Big Dawson Simpson. And this is a real arm wrestle, and this is what we want to see. Good, tight, hard contest here at Etihad. And it is the Saints who came into this game as rank underdogs that are leading the Giants 5 goals, 3-38. GWS 4 goals, 9-33. It's the long break, and the Saints looking pretty good. Akers has picked up 19 disposals. Seb Ross 14. Jack Stephen 14. Sinclair 13. So the midfield, Nick Riewoldt doing its job.
Yeah, and that was the recipe last year when they touched up the Giants. But the game's beautifully poised. We look across all the metrics. Both teams have had 13 scores. They're about even in contested possession, in tackles, in uncontested possession. So the second half is really set up for a beauty. Lots of physicality within the game so far. Bodies flying. It's been a good one, Jono.
Yeah, it certainly has, and it's been tough around the contest, and that's what will please Alan Richardson. With GWS, with still plenty of work to do. Leon Cameron, as we can see, walking down, about to be joined by Alistair Lynch. We'll have plenty to discuss with his boys in this half-time break.
Thanks very much. No surprises what St Kilda have dished up. Been a very tight contest.
Yeah, we expected this to happen. We're a bit disappointed in our second quarter. I thought our attack on the footy was un-Giant-like. I thought it was pretty pleasing in the first, but clearly they got on top of us in the second.
Do you have to look at Jake Carlisle? He's been pretty damaging and had a shot late in that quarter.
Yeah, we're constantly discussing that. Obviously, because we're under siege in the back end. At times we've got to look to make sure he's accountable for a man.
No worries. Thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thanks, mate.
Thank you, Lynchy. Giants booted 2 goals 4 in that second quarter. The Saints booted 3 goals 6. It's half-time here at Etihad, and it is the Saints leading the Giants by 5 points. 3 points at quarter time, the Saints by 5 at half-time. To start the second half, one of the best in the business, Dwayne Russell.
Crowd on the edge of their seats here. This could be the resurrection game for the Saints. Get their season back on track against the top team in the competition, the Giants, who are on the ropes. Steele, Sinclair, Stephen, Hickey, the run and carry man, and he launches one inside 50. Davis read it well, ugly bounce for him, thumped it wide just in hope. Long, got it back to Hickey, chips it back high. Akers, the flyer, didn't go up, he lost it. McCartan at the back, landed well, gathered, gave it to Akers. Has a little time to use it wisely, through Membry's hands. Hasn't really been able to find it in his return game all that much, just the 3 possessions in the opening half to Membry, and will get a ball up 30 from goal.
It's a strange decision from Phil Davis to belt the ball away like he did. You felt he could really take possession and have a control possession as opposed to the big fist.
Simpson knocked it down. Ward found a hole. Savage about to wait for the bounce, kept it in front. Green corrals him. He hooks the kick around the body, got it inside 50. Billings tucked up against the boundary, centering bomb. Davis, McCartan, who is held. I reckon it's a free. It's against McCartan, and it's going to Davis. They were holding each other with 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and Davis got the benefit of the doubt.
Tomlinson tucked in the back pocket.
Hold down, back 10.
Has a look down the line. Can see big Dawson Simpson there. That's where he's heading. Jeremy Cameron might come over the back with a fist, and he does. Pokes it down in front. Claimed was Sinclair. Simpson goes in, can't get it out. Griffin under real pressure. Sinclair again, gives it to Weller. Weller kicks in towards half forward. There's been a free kick, and again it's going against the Saints. It's a GWS free kick. The advantage is paid to Core. He goes to the outer side.
That's the advantage of having Jeremy Finlayson on the back line. It's because he's able to play on small players like Gresham, and he's always going to beat them in those one-on-one contests.
Deledio kicks down towards the half-forward line. Carlisle and Cameron see it over the line.
And the smaller players generally in that quick kick, one-on-one situation, they panic and they take some body because they know they're not going to be big enough to be able to outmark them.
196 is Finlayson centimetres to 177 Gresham.
It's a good old-fashioned mismatch, that one.
It is.
Back into play, Dawson Simpson with a little palm down. Both ruckmen with a little bit to prove in this game as well, trying to establish themselves as regulars in the lineup. Get a secondary ball up from the palm down. Ross had a piece of it. Hickey, Geary, Jack Stephen dances inside, gave it to Hickey. It was on hands and knees. He only wanted the 1-2 anyway. Hickey was wise to it, at least on the same page. Savage spears it past long, overheads. Core gets back. He spears it wide. Shield his target. Kept it in his area, did well. Towed away by Stephen. Delidio kept his feet. Tomlinson blasted back towards the one-on-ones at half forward. Hickey again tried to crumb it. Akers was there. Taranto. Well, the lift door's closed on him. Did he have prior? You bet he did, according to the umpire, holding the ball.
Been good around the ground, Hickey.
Yeah.
His tap work's been competitive, and then that's where you're always going to get the advantage with him. He's a good mover around the ground.
14 disposals for the big man in just his second game this season. Membry quiet. Giants forward through Shield and Griffin. Ryan Griffin now chips it up towards the half-forward line. Patton was there at the back, couldn't take the mark. Savage now. Green. Toby picks it up, gets it out towards Whitfield, who bends it back. For one behind.
Nick, what's been the pot on Tom Hickey? We saw a couple of years ago he was an emerging ruckman, was playing some really good games. Where's he been for 2 years?
Well, I guess it depends on what you want from your ruckman. If you want a big, strong ruckman that's going to win a lot of hit-outs and a follow-up in tight's going to be really strong, then that's why Billy Longer has been the preferred choice last year at least. But around the ground, that's where Tom Hickey's going to be able to provide really strong value. He finds the footy, he covers the ground really well, and he's going to be able to test some of the other big guys like a Dawson Simpson to be able to run with him.
White's kick a little too wide for Carlisle. Simpson won it, but Hickey stole it. Possession number 15. Hunter Clark was a fly, but he couldn't take the mark. Jack Stevens waiting down. He's away, loves to bounce, loves to run. Gets it over the top to Long from 51 metres. Interesting option. He's decided to go short and to the left, looking for Gresham, who's kicked one already. Brings it back in towards half forward. No clean mark taken. They squabble for it. Delidio gets the hand pass out and they're away. The Giants now through the middle of the ground. In towards half forward, and there's the mark taken by Patton. Griffin gives it back once again. Still running as Cornelio short, and Jeremy Cameron completes the run.
It's the inside 50 kick. You've got one end where Long goes in and just butchers it going forward, turnover. Then you've got the inside 50 kick that hits the target. St Kilda should have been having a shot at one end, turnover football, and that's where the Giants can absolutely destroy you.
Cameron has two, one in the first and one in the second. This to regain the lead for the Giants. He's tucked that again to the right and through for one behind. So the kicking at goal is frustrating both coaches. 4 goals, 11 the Giants, 35. Still trailing the Saints at a 5-8-38. 6 minutes gone in this second half.
There's a howling gale down here with the roof on, Sandy.
There might be a howling gale, but there's fog.
Oh, and how the umpire going to read that? Was it a mark? It was to Ross, and I think he caught Jeremy Cameron on the way through as well, and Jeremy Cameron gets up slowly. This is the Saints' 4th game here at Etihad for the year. The Giants' 1st game at Etihad. They don't play here very often. The Giants just one more game here for the entire year. Steele looks up, blasts it long, hoping for McCartan. Illegal push. So you'd presume that the Saints would be able to play Etihad a lot better than the Giants. But the Giants seem to be using it better when they get inside 50, leading up the spine as they go wide towards Green, who, if he finds his 5th year, is going to be the best player in the competition one day. But he seems to run at about 3.5, 4th gear. There's the bump. Alan Richardson and Leon Cameron both in their 5th season as coaches as Ward picks it up. Little 1-2 with Cornelio. He wants the open side spread, but there's not a lot on there. Cornelio back to the congested side, goes long. He's hobbling Haynes, and out of play was a win there for him.
He looked pretty frustrated before then, Richo, didn't he? But Kingy spoke in the pre-match about structurally, can they fix it up? Well, the last few entries we've seen from St Kilda, structurally they've been great in front of the ball. They've had a lot of options. From there, it just becomes about the decision-making and the execution.
Which Ward caught one. Gee. And he's got a free kick.
And that's on the players, the execution and the decision-making.
Callum Ward on centre wing. Short, inboard towards Tomlinson. No 50. So Tomlinson with Dunstan minding him. Comes wide to Ward, who just keeps it in play. Still on centre wing. Steele on the mark. Short again, this time towards Hopper. Couldn't quite take it the half volley. Bang! Straight into long. It was like a headbutt.
Off the turnbuckle.
Yeah, he really jumped over him, Lynchy.
Whitfield. Game number 95 for Lockie Whitfield. And what a star he's been. Inside 50, big pack of players. Waiting down, Deledio. Now this might come back, and it does. Deledio gets his first, and his first for the season. And once again, it's the Giants who hit the front. 5-11-41, leading St Kilda 5-8-38.
Sometimes it's just the injection of class on a game, and both teams had really struggled to hit the scoreboard, and that was just a half chance. Deledio picks it up, and the classy finisher that he is, able to screw it around.
Another good game from Brett Deledio. He's had 16 disposals, now that goal, and that's coming off his best performance for GWS with 28 disposals last week in Canberra.
Yeah, spot on. 1,000 games and 2,000 goals of experience between our three experts this afternoon. Great to have Brad Johnson, Nick Rewalt and Alistair Lynch. As the kick wide from Dunstan is a little too wide for Membry, and we'll get a ball in at half forward. Saints have been a little more accurate today. 5 goals, 8. And last week 7-14, or the 7-13 the week before that. It's been the Giants who've been inaccurate. 5-11 today. Ball back into play. Tomlinson caught, good wing tackle, slung to the deck. Umpire circling, not coming out in a hurry. We'll get another ball up. But the Saints are the lowest scoring team in the AFL the first 4 rounds because of that inaccuracy rate. Need to put a couple more on the board here to get this lead up at 3/4 time. As Weller goes inside to Gresham, flicks it away. He in turn goes to Himmelberg, left to behind. Saints coming hard though. Membry gets his chance, keeps it in front, bangs it back towards goal, and it bends, but not enough. And it's another behind.
5-9, plays 5-11. Giants slender 2-point leaders. Finlayson from the back pocket. A worm-burning pass goes straight down the throat of Jack Sinclair. He gives it off to Carlisle. He's 55 from home. Goes to the top of the square. Kick's got to be good, and it wasn't. Griffin takes the mark. Ryan Griffin back in business. Decides to head for the tall timber. Simpson on the outer side, but he's outnumbered. Seb Ross certainly having a say. Gilbert in towards full forward once again. Davis and McCartan both there. The Giants defence standing firm. Back towards centre wing. As commentators have noticed, the Giants have the ability to stay in a game as Savage gets caught. Good tackling by Lloyd, and their sheer persistence can often get them over the line over 4 quarters. Here goes Toby Green, bouncing his way inside 50. One bounce, runs his full distance. Worm-burning pass straight through the middle. Excellent goal from Toby Green.
Well, there's the class of Toby Green, Dwayne. That's the extra gear you like to see from this young man, because when he goes, look out, something positive always happens. He pushes up to defend here, and they get the turnover, and he is gone. He is out the back. Haynes as well was able to push out, and you look at Cameron here, he leads, he draws the attention of Carlisle, opens up the space. Smart kick in the end, kick to the goal line. Stevie J. Light was excellent at that.
Carlisle did a great job because he forced Toby Green into having for anyone else in the competition, John, a very, very difficult shot at goal, rather than attack him and then just give him the easy pop over the top to Cameron. But the last 2 goals of the Giants, Deledio off one step from one pocket, and Green degree of difficulty from the other.
And the class is starting to rise. Cornelio drives it long. He goes for home himself. It's offline, only a behind. They've kicked the last 3 goals of this game, the Giants, the top team in the competition. Got a lot of class out there, and a lot of those young players are now playing their 100th game or around their 100th game mark. Canelio, game 100 today. Whitfield, who goes for this one, if not for the AFL suspension, would have played his 100th. Shield, little shake and bake. Does the Beyonce to the left, and goes for home and goals it. Amazing goal.
Well, it's a heartbreaker, really, for the Saints. It's just, you look at the three players for the Giants that have been able to kick the last three. Deledio, whose rise to form the last few weeks has been stunning in the absence of Kelly and Scully. Green with the dribbler, and then Dylan Shield, the shake and bake and the finish. And the Saints have actually dominated the quarter. You look at the inside 50s, they're leading 9-6. They just haven't been able to convert.
Three of the best players in the game. They're kicking the last 3 goals, and all of a sudden the Giants have shot clear, 54-39. As we go back in the middle, can the Saints respond? Here's the bounce, won by Patton. It's taken out of the middle, however, by the Saints. Up towards the half-forward line, only to see it chopped off by Phil Davis. Davis looks towards Patton, and the big man, well, it bounced off his chest as if it would rubber. Sinclair, ball was touched, kicks in towards the half-forward line. Again, Davis opts for a spike. Goes back to him. He's close to the boundary line. I thought he went out and over, but the boundary umpire said no. And now it's a free kick going the way of St Kilda.
I think Phil thought he went out as well, and I think that's exactly what he was trying to do. Sinclair
to the top of the square. Big pack of players waiting down is Jack Stephen. On to the left. Can he bend it back? Yes, he can.
Finally they get reward, Sandy, for their effort up forward. Jack Stephen kicks his first on 20 disposals in this game. As always, he's worked extremely hard, pushing to the backhand, trying to help up forward as well, but gets front and square here, pops into screen. The big ball falls his way, and the class there to keep St Kilda in touch. Important goal from their gun midfielder.
And that's been the difference, the conversion of your inside 50 entries. St Kilda going at 35%, 16 shots from 46 entries, and 67% for GWS, 18 shots for their 27.
Patton into the ruck against Hickey. Breaks a run of 4 Giants goals in a row. Taranto held before he collected it, and then collected it. So it was kind of being able to be held, but the umpire decided that Taranto deserved the free. Hands it off to Shaw. Sizzles it low, and he hits Green. And he takes off, runs ahead of the mark, loads up towards goal. And this time, a rare blemish. And a let-off for the Saints. Leon Cameron hasn't been a happy camper most of the afternoon.
The mail was, it was a reasonable cook at half-time as well.
Steele. Jack Steele from half-back. Well, that won't be the required distance, so he's put Jack Stephen under pressure a little bit. But the Little Masters equal to it. Possibly. A poor kick, come unstuck. Taranto at the bottom, De Boer goes wide. Saints well and truly still in this game. Copfield gets it out towards Stephen. They go in towards the middle, and Weller takes the mark. Weller goes deep towards the boundary line. Seb Ross wants this. He's screaming for it.
I had to go quicker to Hickey, push forward.
Yep. Now they do. Towards Hickey. Big pack of players come over the top. Akers clear. An opportunity for a shot, maybe. Well, it wasn't a good one by Jack Steele. It was low and into the top of the square. They're still not without hope here. Close to the line and eventually taken over. Himmelberg seeing it over with Heath Shaw. And one behind the end result. Jack picks himself up. Back into play. Whitfield. Long just having a little bit to say as Whitfield goes on to Davis. Wants to go out to the outer side, ignoring Callum Ward on this side. Goes towards Tomlinson.
It's out in the full.
Right, so he gets the footy. Shield has it at half-back.
About the ticking of time on third term. Heads wide. Patton his target. Hickey did well, got the knuckles on it, got it out, and they can reset. He's got the advantage in the ruck against Patton. Tom Hickey, and he knew it there. Get it out, and I might be able to palm it down someone's throat here. 5 games, no goals, poor tap numbers last year, Tom Hickey, but this is a chance for him to establish himself again. Flick down towards Shield, though. Got away with it. Did he get the clearance? He gave it up to Delidio instead. Pokes the pass out wide. Hopper. Cameron's in the goal square, calling for it long. Green now lurking with the one-on-one. Bomb to the square. Green flies from 3 deep. Can't pick it up. Cameron nearly did. White did well. Keeps it in the area. Top of the square. Saints fans screaming for ball. And there's that Alan Richardson noise of affirmation from the crowd.
Yeah, the cheers got in. They were nice and loud on that occasion.
White is the recipient. He goes short to Ross in the back pocket. He's away towards McCartan. Davis the fist from behind. Carlisle waiting down. Long slaps it back in, only to see it taken by Ward. Oh, Long got him again. Not before he got it out to Reid, who goes for a centering kick. That's okay. In towards the middle, and the mark taken by Delidio. Pass was interesting and just a little too short. Couldn't be taken on the half volley. The door opens again for the Saints. And they're away. Steele goes long, up towards the half-forward line. Gresham, he's clear, needs help, gets it. Ross was running wide, didn't use him. Now they've got him. He's got a player in the pocket. And this time, Gresham makes space once again. Gee, they had a couple of opportunities there, Nick.
Well, and also Heathshaw came through the protected area to man the mark, so Memory was onto it. He was trying to get the 50 metres from the ump.
He's had a quiet return, Tim Membry. Just the 4 kicks. But he's got a chance here to bring St Kilda right back into this game. The drop punt is to the near side, however, and through for 1 behind, with just over 21 minutes played in this third term.
I think they're the situations that have been frustrating the Saints internally in the early part of the season. Those 5-on-4 type opportunities where they've got the outnumber in their forward line, but they're just not able to generate the sort of scoring opportunity that they'd really like.
It's tough when the kick inside 50 goes that wide as Delidio takes the mark. If you can get them more in the corridor, you've got a better chance of kicking them. So it's not just the kicker, it's the leader as well that entices it out wide. Core finds Shield.
And some of that is the way opposition teams defend. You can only lead where there is space, and I thought the Giants, even though they were outnumbered on that last occasion, were able to do that pretty well.
Davis had the reach. Gresham had his jumper. Huge 4 minutes and 40 coming up here for the context of this game. Saints have conceded 4 of the last 5 goals. Saints had the lead by 5 points at half-time if you've just joined us. Shaw, ugly, but it's turned over to Geary. Big opportunity, and they turn it back over. Cameron read his mind, heads long towards half-forward, and the kick-off mark to Caulfield has been splendid this afternoon. He's done extremely well there. Pick 8 in last year's draft. Goes back to Carlisle, and the Saints can reload from defence.
Towards White. There's a cross half-back. Haynes, the man on the mark, but he's moving very gingerly as White goes back from whence it came. Caulfield and Clark, the 2 youngsters combined. He could have gone over the top to Dunstan, but elects to go in towards the middle. That's going to be okay. Jack Billings starting to build on his stats now. He's had 12. Sinclair takes it from Carlisle, goes into the pocket, and here's another opportunity for Akers.
It is, but it's wide again, Dwayne.
Yeah.
It's that entry wide. So it was the handball receive on the outside, which that's where the space was to lead in, but that's where the Giants have been able to protect things. Savage just jumps into a bit of space here, but Akers is committed to the shot now.
49th game for Blake Akers. He's kicked 4 goals in his first 4 games this season. This would be a bonus. Finding the woodwork, 1 behind. 6 goals, 12. So once again, as in recent weeks, their kicking for goal has let them down. 6-12 to 7-13, and a big couple of minutes still to come.
It's got to be breaking Ben Dixon's heart, their new goal-kicking coach, to see so many shots from those pockets. Finlayson to himself, and then bombs it long. McCartan about to fly, couldn't bring it down. Almost the free. Umpire said no. I think he was blindsided, the umpire. Whitfield got it up. Hunter Clark caught. Cornelio found space where there was none. Heads toward Haynes at half forward. Carlisle, a little knuckle on it. Hopper tried to get it and turned back. Delidio attacked it. Little tap, Whitfield clever. Got it to Taranto, to Hopper. His handball cut off. Well played by Weller. Gilbert. Ross. Caught by De Boer. Geary's chance. Heads wide. Is it on the full? It is. And it'll be the Giants' ball with 2 minutes left.
Lynchy, should Haynes still be out there?
No, not at all. I mean, he's limping around. He looks like he's got no presence on the field. He may even be close to a liability at this stage, but they're keeping the rotations up. Maybe they'll rest him in the last quarter.
Ward goes inside 50 to a big pack. Patton won't get there in time, and it spins away from Cameron and through for behind.
Just to reinforce what you said about St Kilda's inaccurate kicking over the last 3 weeks, they kicked 5-13 against North, 5-14 against Adelaide Crows, or sorry, 7-13 against Adelaide Crows, and 7-14 last week against Geelong Cats. Hasn't been good.
Untidy, as was that attempt to mark. Here's Haynes getting a kick and going down into the pocket. And an opportunity now for Hopper.
Just deflates you when you probably your best mark in your club, and your best defensive mark in the club just drops an absolute sitter like that to turn the ball over.
You just can't set up for those defensively, can you?
No.
And this to give the Giants a 14-point buffer close to siren time. 1.5 minutes left on the clock in this third term. Jacob Hopper tries to guide it through, but all he's done is push it right across the face of goal. And no score whatsoever, so Gilbert comes away.
Heads toward McCartan. Just out of his reach. Ball rolls away from the reach of Shaw. Will get a ball in. Still a chance for a late one to either team. 1 minute 16 left to three-quarter time. The Giants led by 3 at quarter time. The Saints by 5 at half time. Right now it stands at 8. Ball back into play. Dawson Simpson down. Ward couldn't get it and go. Dangerous here for the Saints. Whitfield looks up. Puts it over the head of Patton. Rolling ball. Brown within his rights to knock this through for a behind. And with 1 minute left, the Saints can be bold here perhaps. They don't want to take it on down the spine. Little wide kick. Caulfield. Short to Stephen. Does he want to take it on? Short again to Ross. Down the line and wide. McCartan was over his head. Hickey was down there. He couldn't trap it from the scramble. Davis got his arms free. Flicked it out to Dawson Simpson. He left it behind. Big ruckman. Hickey went at it. He couldn't take off with it. Free kick's been found. A dump. Play on advantage. De Boer looks up. This had hurt. Delidio bumped on the kick. Heads long. Akers gets back on the back track. He was met front on. Free kick. And they dodge a bullet. The Saints.
Yeah, time, I think, will be against either side scoring.
Well, this is the first time I've ever seen this, boys. You've got to give the footy back on the full. but I've never heard the rule you've got to give the shoe back the boot on the pull, or the boot back.
Oh, he's just flicked it away, didn't he?
He's thrown his boot away and given away 50.
Occupational health and safety.
Oh, you're kidding me.
The boot was in.
There it is. He's just getting it out of the way. Is that 50?
Well, I tell you what, he's got 13 seconds, and it might just hurt the Giants. 13 seconds remaining on the clock to three-quarter time.
Unsportsmanlike behaviour?
Akers has both shoes back on.
The 8th row.
No, he gave it to the trainer.
Akers goes wide, very wide. Ross won't be able to keep it in play, and he turns around, Seb, a little disappointed at seeing that effort. So a big final quarter coming up. This could go right down to the wire. Only a couple of kicks in it as we approach siren time. And there is the three-quarter time siren. The Saints are in with a sniff. They're chasing down the top side on the ladder at the moment. They're down by just 9 points.
To start this final term with a 9-point margin in favour of the Giants. Here's Sandy Roberts.
Thank you, Dwayne. Jono, who wins?
I think GWS will win. The one rotation down for St Kilda, I think, is maybe hurt them with the power run here. But in saying that, it's around the contest here that St Kilda need to continue to pump that ball forward. Things can change quickly, but the Giants just for me.
Two-kick ball game at the moment going into the final quarter. Hickey up against Simpson. The ladder wins it. Trying to get it out was the Centurion Cornelio. Ward gets claimed, ripped off the footy. Seb Ross is lurking there. Goes in hard, he's at the bottom of the pack. And he'll pick himself up. We've got a stoppage. Saints have got Hawthorn, Melbourne, Fremantle and Collingwood over the next 4 weeks. Pat couldn't quite take it on the half volley. An opportunity for White, who goes wide to the outer side. The bouncing ball maybe okay for the Saints. Stephen gives a little ground. Dunstan is there, eventually running out of room. It was White. The Giants, on the other hand, have got the Lions next week, then Geelong, West Coast Eagles and North. But an opportunity right here for St Kilda to keep their season well and truly alive. Hickey again, he's had a very good day. 17 disposals, been really busy. Cornelio caught in the end, not before he got it away towards Green, who finds Shield, three of the neatest players in the game. Now Ward giving it off to big Dawson Simpson. They're threading it round. De Boer, clever little pass, an effective one too. And Patton will pick himself up and have a shot.
It was just a breakdown there from the St Kilda defence. Sam Gilbert ended up trying to affect the spoil on Patton, but he came off Jeremy Cameron, so Big John Patton found himself in all sorts of space with, I think it might have been Jay Gresham standing next to him, so that clearly wasn't the matchup.
Somewhat different role for Patton this year after kicking 45 goals last year. He's directly in front though here today. He's trying to kick his first and his fourth for the season. And a steadier for the Giants. That's better. Gun barrel straight.
Oh, it's a good goal from Johnny Patton, and this is how he gets himself out. There he is with his direct opponent right on his shoulder, Nick, and this is where we find out exactly how he's able to step out the back, because Brown steps up and doesn't get involved with Toby Green, and there's Patton just rolling out the back. Now, there's a few good steps in there from Callum Ward, and they're able to move it around, but no one adjusts back onto him. How much time does he have to stand there by himself?
So when Brown as a defender leaves Patton and comes forward around the stoppage, you've got to impact the contest. He was just hanging off the back of the contest, had no impact at all. The Giants were able to flick the ball around. Patton releases forward to a position to receive, ends up taking an uncontested mark.
Well, the bounce was kind of unfair to Hickey. Dawson Simpson got a handball away, but the Saints get the clearance anyway. Ross inside 50. Late knock away from Finlayson is okay. Billings goes inside. Hickey, delightful handoff. Gresham looked inside. He had a couple of other options, but he was under pressure. Dunstan, who kicked a monster earlier in the game, goes wide with this one, and that's better than a behind. Ball in, forward pocket. Nowhere to hide now for the Saints. Fans have come under some pressure. Can they respond? Great to see so many Saints fans in. They are the diamonds that cannot be crushed. Heartache aplenty for Saints fans over time, but they still believe. Do their players believe here? Gilbert looks up. Geary back inside. Back to Gilbert. Can he hit a chest? Shaw got there. Good contest, Akers. Ball inside. Kick around the body from Billings. And he breaks his duck.
Well, he's a class player, Jack Billings. He's a beautiful kick of the footy.
Didn't have time to think about it.
All of a sudden, Jono, he finds himself in a rushed, a hurried situation where there's no time to think about, am I going to kick it? Am I going to miss? Throws it on the boot. And that's what class players do. They finish. They take those opportunities. And that was a really badly needed one for the Saints. Just to give them the belief that they're right in this contest, which they are. But if you're not getting reward on the scoreboard, that can sap a young team's confidence.
The left foot snap brings it all back for Jack Billings and for St Kilda. Back to a 9-point margin in favour of the Giants. Akers 25 disposals, Ross 24, Stephen 24, Sinclair 21. Hickey's had a really good day as well. Simpson tried to aerial tactics, gets it down towards Cornelio, who goes down towards the half-forward line. Gilbert leading in the race. With him is Daniel Lloyd. Got to be kept in play. And an opportunity for Hopper. Turned inside out by Steele, but he gets it to Cameron. Cameron centering ball. Clever kick. Finds Deledio. Directly in front. 25 out.
Yeah, well played. Well played by Hopper. I think to start with, he was able to take possession and just delays handball to Cameron to find space. There it is there. Excellent work from Hopper. Then unselfish from Jeremy Cameron to find Brett Deledio.
23 disposals. He can cap it off with a goal. His second, and he does exactly that. Well, the reply could not come any quicker, boys.
That's unbelievable vision for Jeremy Cameron. You would assume he's looking at the goal. So that's pretty much 90 degrees from where he would have been lining up and looking. To be able to see that out the corner of his eye and make that split-second decision and an unselfish decision to kick it to a teammate in a much better position. Yeah, it's brilliant play.
It's trust too. He almost knew that there's probably going to be an option provided inside. And boy, they got some class among their 22, the Giants. Simpson with a flick back. Ward attacks it. Clean pick. Gave to Cornelio. Bounce pass. Danger again. Saints could get the instant reply. Good drag down tackle. Membry. Gang tackled. Ball up 50 from goal.
How good is it to see Brett Deledio back in super form? He looks great on top of the ground last year. The question marks around the Achilles and whether he'd actually be able to get back to this type of football. And his season so far has been back to the best we know.
The best thing for Brett Deledio that happened was Kelly and Scully getting injured, because they were occupying all the time on the wings or inside. All of a sudden they go out and Deledio gets a full game on the wing. So sometimes it's just about opportunity for a player. It's hard to get those sort of numbers playing as a flanker, which he was.
Hard to watch your old team win a flag too after you've moved on to Bohr. Cameron caught by Gilbert with the handball up just in time. Geary had it but lost it. Green got his arms clear. Dropped it as he was tackled. Saints fans screaming for ball. Sinclair blasted inside 50. McCartan attacks it. Got there. Tunneled a little. No free. Whitfield slams it on the boot. Akers, can he get there? Ugly bounce. Cameron just took it from his grasp. Took it to the boundary and took it out.
Jeremy Cameron's starting to get up the field. He's working extremely hard. He's got the 2 goals 3 from those shots and missed a couple of easy ones. It could have been a much bigger day for him, but working very hard in his 4th term.
The other thing with Deledio, John, he's just turned 31 years of age. Great to see him back and playing the way he is.
Definitely, Sandy.
So a throw in. Simpson front spot. Green like lightning. Gets it away to Hopper. He goes up towards centre wing. Lloyd is there. Just forward of the wing, in fact, towards the 50. And we've got a throw in.
And we saw Brown flash across the screen there to just pressure that situation with Hopper and get it across the boundary line. That's what you have to do if you're coming off your opponent in pattern. The first time he did it, he had no impact. Pattern kicks a goal. That time he's able to clear it across the boundary line.
Hickey front spot. Neither ruckman having dominance there. Toby Green gets caught, loses the footy. Clark, ferocious for the Saints. Young Hunter Clark picks himself up. Caulfield as well. Now we've got another stoppage. Hickey, Haynes, Simpson doing the tackling.
A little bit dangerous here for St Kilda, it's deliberate. They've got 5 forwards in front of the ball, so last week we saw them in these sort of situations really try to support defensive stoppage with only 2 forwards in front of the ball. So
Green, a short kick, not a lot of distance. De Boer got it out. Here's a snap by Cornelio. Away to the left and through for one behind.
So they're the sort of situations that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They have less numbers around to saturate the area and make it difficult for GWS to score. But if they do win it and clear it, they're more likely to score themselves.
White drives it long. Carlisle's his target. Himmelberg with him. Carlisle kept his feet, was waiting for it, but Ross takes off. Chisels it wide. Long. Almost elected to let that roll out and we'll get a ball in. The Saints last week, Alan Richardson pushed Carlisle forward, but the horse had bolted last week. Right now, they're 3 goals down in essence with 14 minutes 40 left. Is it time?
No, I think that they look good. They look good behind the ball and they look good in front of the ball. They've just got to take their opportunities.
Dan Step was good from Steele. Barrels it towards Membry. Can't take the mark. Off hands. Ball stays in until it's taken out by Core. They've got a nice one to the ribs. And they can reset just outside their 50.
It's been solid again today, Aiden Core. Direct opponent has been Membry for most of the day.
Time, not yet a factor, but the Saints would dearly love the next one. Jack Steele leaves it for Dunstan, who goes onto the left foot, kicks up towards the half-forward line. Here's Whitfield giving it to Tomlinson, who bends it back high towards half-back, only to see Hunter Clark underneath it. The young man plays on. The lead is on. McCartan came charging out, but he couldn't take it cleanly. Griffin goes further afield towards Davis. He's got it now, gives it to Tomlinson. Tomlinson goes wider to De Boer. Suddenly the Giants are out of trouble. Toby Green gives it back to De Boer. Off he goes to Deledio, hugging the boundary line. They go down towards centre wing. They've got players streaming down the ground. Toby Green is one. This kick's got to be good, and it is. And Hopper will go back 45 metres out.
It's that Deledio kick again. It's that little hit up that breaks open everything from the wing position to half forward, and then they had players out everywhere.
Jacob Hopper, just his 3rd game this season. He's kicked a couple of goals, but none today. This would increase the challenge for the Saints. Kicking from just inside 50. Jacob Hopper struggles with the distance and touched over the line. One behind.
So 3 goals, 13 minutes. The equation right now. Ton of time left. Ball wide. Ugly kick. Rolls to Davis's advantage. Hopper, Griffin, dances inside. Kicks to the square. Carlisle.
Right.
Good grab.
He's just about the best in the comp at doing that.
Yeah, you'd like 2 of them, one forward, one back, as Dunstan wobbles one wide. Patton cuts it off. Nice hands.
A couple of poor kicks there from Luke Dunstan coming out of D50 for the Saints. Turn the ball over.
Taranto can take some time because time is in their favour. Cameron leads wide in his direction, gets up way early, super early, but didn't infringe. Hunter Clark. Whitfield kept it in front. Good attack, got his arms free, dumped. Dragged down tackle on Gilbert by Taranto was good. Ball comes to Shield, he had it and he dropped it. Cameron had it, got it to Patton. Good pressure here from the Saints. Can they get a turnover and run it? They've got space ahead if they can. Whitfield had a chance. Barreled. Gresham had a chance. He was barreled. You could throw a blanket over 15 of them. Deledio got it out. To Shield, who got it out. To Cornelio, who got it out to Cameron. He's on his left. Long bomb, goal square. Carlisle's down there. Neither Carlisle nor White could mark it. Ball comes towards Green. He can't get it on the boot. Slam to the deck. White wore him like paint. And we'll get a ball up top of the square.
He hasn't had a big day, Daniel Lloyd, but that was a big contest there. It was 2v1, had to bring the ball to ground and not get out marked to keep this ball locked in the area it is for GWS.
Critical spot for the Saints at the moment. The Giants just surging metre by metre as they try and get a shot at goal. Shield again in the thick of things. The handball going over the head. Back towards the 50 now. Well, taken out of it was Sam Reid. Deledio lurking. Short little kick is okay. Comes back to Reid. He goes with a big bomb, but he's away to the right. And one behind only.
There's a let-off there for the Saints. They were all surging, trying to surge the ball forward, but once the ball stopped, it was Hunter Clark's kick got smothered. They all got past it, so then that's when Reid was able to find himself uncontested out the back.
Weller has the footy at the moment on the half-back flank. 54 plays 72, so at least 3 goals now required by the Saints as White goes across the ground. Caulfield short. That's going to be okay.
It was an important kick, that one. He was about the only thing he had on there, Billings, but great sign for a young player to have the confidence to pull the trigger on that and hit it.
Billings kick up towards the wing, Membry. A subdued return, I think we can say, Nick.
Yeah, he hasn't had huge numbers.
Rewalt. McCart. I was just dreaming. Yes. I was hoping that he might have still been out there, but it wasn't to be.
Oh, that's when he had 1 million possessions throughout his career.
Here's Ross. Centering ball, Weller. Now, an opportunity here. He's taken that mark 46 metres out directly in front.
Junie, no problem here.
No.
Must goal.
Pretty reliable kick, Nick. You back him in?
Yep. Good Tassie boy, Lynchy.
18 points is the margin at the moment. He kicks from 50 metres. Now the margin is 12. 2 straight kicks. And the Saints are still in it.
You backed him in, Root, and spot on. Ex-teammate, you knew exactly what he was capable of. Back to 12 points. It's game on. 10 minutes to go. It feels like GWS have been in such control, but they're just hanging around the Saints. They're competitive around the footy. They have been all day. Uncontested-wise, it's very even as well. So this next centre clearance is huge for the St Kilda Footy Club.
Ton of time left. 9:45 left on the clock. 2 goals the margin. Ball back in the middle. Hickey, Simpson. Good bounce. Gee, that's tough.
Isn't it?
That is really tough. Simpson, that looked like a good contest. Ward spears it wide to Cameron on the move. Lace out. And just beyond his range, perhaps, realises it. Calls for the lead. Carlisle. Great hands. He's one of the best pick-off marks in the comp, if not the best. And he sets it up nicely to Geary, to Weller, to Stephen. Takes off at half-back. Long's got a chance. They've got the outrider, the runner. Back to Weller. He dance steps around a couple. This is the kick, though, the inside 50 kick. They need a lace-out pass, and they miss it again. Davis read it to perfection, gave it to Shaw, and they're out of trouble to Ward.
What a game. Phil Davis. He's held up in defence all day for the Giants.
Deledio has been good with a couple of goals. Hopper. There's a cross halfback. Could switch laterally or go down the line. He elects the latter option. Fisted out the back. Savage is there for the Saints, and he flicks it back now. Clark used the body. He may get a chance now. He's got it. Tucked on the boundary line. Little left foot pass is a poor one. Now he could have marked that. Phil Davis.
That's actually free kickable. If it's not a contest,
not in the
and you dump it out, it bounds on the floor. If it's not a contest, that you're allowed to pay a free kick there. That wasn't a contest.
No marking contest there, is there?
A couple of St Kilda supporters in the stands certainly thought it was a free kick. So a throw in.
Strange that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just a strange thing to do.
Especially from Davis, who he's marked it well all day. He's taken the 8 this afternoon.
Simpson a little too far underneath that for the throw in. Steele does get it out. Sinclair, Jack Stephen, Seb Ross, long. A high ball. Catch that one and play fair. Well, Davis opted for the fist again and he poked it down towards the pocket. It's still in play. Davis eventually picks it up and he tumbles a punt to the wide open spaces. An opportunity here for Himmelberg. He gets clear. Harry Himmelberg in towards the middle. Almost plucking was Lloyd with the one hand. Now he needs assistance. Badly he needs assistance because Hunter Clark comes in. Saints fans sensing there's still something left. A tired-looking kick, however, goes straight onto the chest of Dawson Simpson. And he will relieve going wide to Tomlinson. Not a good kick. Tomlinson's going to have to work hard because Long's got him. Long's got to beat 2, but he can't keep it in play. And we've got a throw in. Both still in the vicinity.
Both teams have had their opportunities in the last few minutes, and it's just been bad turnovers. So Lynchy called it at the start of the last quarter. Whichever team takes their opportunities.
Under fatigue as well now, and that's the critical thing. Which player is going to grit their teeth and really just inspire their teammates by doing something special?
Well, it deserved a bigger crowd here today. 14,956 as Akers goes into half forward. Membry with the one hand wasn't good enough. An opportunity for Finlayson to clear. Wide to the outer side towards Himmelberg. He gets a chance once more. Can he get clear? No, he can't. He scoots away eventually and goes into the middle of the ground. Again, the Saints have the numbers. De Boer's got to beat a couple. He's given away the free kick in so doing.
They've got some momentum here, the Saints.
Yeah.
2 goals the margin. 6 minutes and change left, and you can feel it in the arena. There's some belief there. And the Saints, with the Giants starting to fatigue a little, have a massive opportunity here to steal it.
This is their 61st inside 50.
Can they hit a target? That's the key. Fist from Tomlinson. Toe poke by Delidio, so he didn't go down and pick it up. Dunstan gets it. Gave to Ross. Can he hit a chest? Long in the pocket. And maybe from there.
To win it, they have to take these half chances. This is a tough shot, but you've got to convert one of these if they're going to get over the line.
And on this occasion, the wide shot, that's where the clearance went from the Giants. So they had no alternative, the Saints.
NT under-18 captain. He's played in a premiership with the Dogs at VFL level. Normally a confident player. Shows it here, bends it around, and kicks the goal of his life. There's a kick in it.
What a goal, Root. Took on the man on the mark. I thought he's going to kick into the man on the mark.
You could see it coming. You could see it coming.
And around he went. And then the class finished with the snap. Alistair Lynch called for it. Need to make the most of these half chances. He certainly did then.
What a goal from Ben Long to keep the Saints well and truly in this. One straight kick the difference.
There's only 14,000 here, but they're out of their chairs. They're pretty pumped. They're going to call the Saints home.
Hickey and Simpson again. Can the Giants repel? It's Canelio who kicks up towards half forward. And the mark is taken by Green, who very coolly and calmly picks himself up and strolls back. He's had 14 disposals today. He's kicked 1 goal. That was in the 3rd quarter. And already he's down to 10 seconds and counting. As he lines up, they've been able to reply in the past. Can Green do it again? He begins his approach. Going to be kicking from 47 metres. Drop punt coming back, but it's gone left. Too far left to come back. And through for one behind. Who knows? It could be that valuable point that we often talk about.
It was a let-off. They were just disorganised, the St Kilda defenders there. None of them really took responsibility for Green.
Savage to himself. Then straight down the middle. Plenty of flyers. Hickey was the big man in front for the Saints. Now Jackie Stevens says, I'm away. One bounce. Gone. Was he held and he didn't have the footy?
Oh,
gone.
It's a big call.
Gee, that is a big call.
On the bounce.
So, fair enough.
Tackled on the bounce from first look at it. We'll get another look at some point. But that's a big chase down by Finlayson.
Could be a defining moment as he goes short to Shaw. Boy, 4 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. Shaw's kick. Inside 50 once again. A big fist. The Giants have got the players waiting down. Akers is underneath this, however, and he takes the mark. Saints need the next score. They're away. Oh, the kick is a little too far on this occasion for Sinclair. But he recovers. Looks down towards the half-forward line. McCartan takes the mark. Still a long way from home. He does go long. It's 1-on-1, and a big fist from Phil Davis takes it away from Carlisle. And he gets the plaudits from his teammates.
And as you can see, Jake Carlisle has just been pushed forward.
It was one of those situations where he was moving back into the drop zone, so he couldn't initiate contact. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to get back onto the ball.
Alan Richardson's bitten the bullet. He's pushed all his chips into the middle of the table. Carlisle's forward. They need a goal and a bit. Gilbert to send it back inside 50. They've got pass targets. It's McCartan. Great hands. And he's kicked one from here. It was on the run. But he has nailed one from here. And this is a huge moment. He's been under pressure. There's been article after article written about him. Can he rise to the occasion? You have one of the best records of any player drafted in the last decade in junior footy. He was a god for Geelong Grammar. And in he comes from 50 to make it a one-point game. Looks good off the boot. The Saints fans go up. He salutes the air. Welcome to the big time, Paddy. You're on top of the stage. Can you finish it with 3 minutes left?
Sensational work here from Paddy McCartan. What a goal it was. Gilbert there was able to get back off the mark, quickly identify, had 3 targets inside forward 50. Picked the best of the lot in Paddy McCartan. Goes back and nails it. Go to the centre bounce now. This is where their last time they got to this point, they let themselves down. GWS got the easy one out. This is huge for both teams.
McCartan has 3. We got a one-point ball game. Who can win it out of the middle? Hickey to go against Simpson. Hickey gets hands to it. Trying to get it out was Cornelio. Short little kick virtually goes back to the centre circle. Longer by Ward. Up towards the half-forward line. Patton, the general, couldn't quite complete the mark. Needs help from Hopper. Also Green. It's locked on their 50 at the moment. Saints have got the numbers to clear. White gets a hurried kick towards centre wing. Time is of the efforts now. 2.5 minutes remaining on the clock. And the Giants are set to go forward once again.
So you've got to get man on man here. You've got to find them
too
quickly.
Slow. Ripping tackle from behind. Once again, the door opens for the Saints. Gresham could be the man if he gets a kind bounce. It's only got a set for Gresham. 30 metres out. Tumbles a punt. Gets the behind. Scores a level.
Everybody takes a breath, including those 2.
Well, both groups of players haven't got a breath left. They're out on their feet.
It's hero and villain time. Do you take the chance to be a hero when you might end up the villain? The torp down the middle. Hero kick. Ball to the back is their play. Cameron takes off, but he's caught. Just got a handball away. Fortune favours the brave. Lloyd was there, but he's caught. He's caught by Long. Whose goal started all this? He's got it on the wing. He looks up.
Both sides really clearly playing to win. GWS with the long talk.
Core thumps it towards the boundary. But it's in the Saints forward half. 73 plays 73, and it comes down to 96 seconds of football.
And I say playing to win because it is dangerous out of your back half if you turn it over in that situation to concede a goal straight away, Jono.
Or even a shot, a point, anything at this stage.
Hickey, Dawson, Simpson both go at it. Lloyd got the crumb, slammed it on the boot, just kicked it forward in hope. Hopper there, White right with him, ball in. 1:27 left on the clock and scores level.
There are some tired players. Hopper has had it.
14-5 in clearances this last quarter. GWS way. They've dominated this part of the game in this last quarter. They need to do it again here.
So it's just in the Giants' attacking zone. Hickey beaten on this occasion by Simpson. Taranto has a problem. Dunstan steals it. Ward, head down, bottom up. Taken down. And we'll have a stoppage.
You'd expect both midfields to get pretty creative here at stoppage. Try and hook it into the middle. Try and have a cover release where one player moves into a defensive position, the other just bolts forward.
Trying up once again. A chance for the Giants. Good work by Delidio. Sees them go inside 50 once more. Brown tries to smash it clear. It goes over the boundary line. Throw in the Giants' left forward pocket.
And GWS are highly rated in the AFL from scoring from forward 50 stoppages. Very dangerous situation for the Saints here.
Precious seconds continue to tick. 57 seconds left on the clock. Still time for either side. No one clear. Stephen goes to ground. Dunstan couldn't take it. Big Dawson saw it slip out of his hand, so he goes again, and he's caught by Jack Steele. He might have a problem. All was held. Stoppage on the 50. Giants in attack. 42 seconds. Ward can't get clear. They smother him. And the ball up.
Man on man everywhere around the ground.
Third man up would be handy here.
Oh, wouldn't it?
Dawson Simpson flicks it back. Ross read it well. Kicks around the body and the seconds are ticking. Billings had a chance. Stephen had a fingernail on it and it slips past his grasp. And he knows it. He looks at the scoreboard. The players know it can't be far away.
Well,
31 minutes gone on the scoreboard and the runners are out telling them exactly how long left. Back into play. It's last roll of the dice time. Steele. Savage. Kick smothered. Ricochets. Steele gets it back again to Ross. He kicks around the body towards the wing. 15 seconds left. It's the clearance from this. Long. The Saints will have the last roll of the dice. Stephen looks up. He's got Carlisle forward. He has a bounce. Carlisle leads back at him. Carlisle! Dumped away by Davis. Could be a game saver. Siren sounds. And it's a draw. The agony and the ecstasy of a draw.
Unbelievable. Look at that sight. Players from both sides absolutely out on their feet.
Nothing left whatsoever. Both sides showed courage throughout that game. In the last quarter, St Kilda to fight their way back from 18 points down to get level. The last opportunity of the game, and the crowd knew it. They knew what time was left. Jack Stephen running bounce. Hits up Carlisle, couldn't finish it with the mark. And we end in a draw. Tough game of footy today. It was a tough four-quarter game of footy from both teams.
Well, both sides competed really fiercely, but, and I don't want to sound biased, Wayne, but for the Saints, you win inside 50s by 21.
You can.
You have all the opportunities. You expect to walk away winners from those games. It's a much improved performance from the Saints, but, gee, it's just got a bit of a hollow feeling, hasn't it?
Yeah. So you're an advocate for extra time?
Oh, well, I was in 2010, I promise you that.
Let's go down to Lynchy, who's got the man of the moment with him. Lynchy.
Yeah, with Jake Carlisle. Jake, what's the feeling like?
Oh, I don't know. I've never played in a draw, but it was good to see us come back after, a few struggling weeks and just play Saints footy, I suppose. Give us every chance to try and win a game. Unfortunately, we couldn't do it, but I'd rather take a draw than a loss.
I mean, great build-up and great response. You just worked into the game in the third quarter, then in the last quarter to get your last chance. How was it when you saw Jakey Stevens running towards you with the ball?
Oh, my eyes lit up there, but I started cramping as I pulled back to come up at the lead, and the kick was a little bit high, but I should still sort of take him. I'm sweating like bullets, so it was a bit slippery.
There's 14,000 very nervous supporters in the stand. They were calling for a free kick. Did you feel it might have been over the shoulder?
No, I just feel like I should have marked it. Was it a free?
No, it probably wasn't, but we always hope for that. You said the build-up's been pretty tough over the last few weeks. What was the major focus going into this game? You're playing against the flag favourites.
Well, at times we've played North and Geelong, and they seem to hold 6 defenders, and what we weren't doing was holding our 6 forwards. So our aim was just to play Saints footy and play, one-on-one all over the ground. So it felt like we did that. Wasn't sure what the contested ball was like, but being a defender anyway, it felt like the ball was coming in a lot more contested. Yep. So which allows myself and Gilbert and those likes to get back and mark and intercept. So we just got back to playing our way, and it gave us every chance to try and win.
Well, you certainly did that. A great response, and it's a draw, but you should be very proud. Well done.
Yeah, can't complain. Thanks, mate.
2 premiership points. I'll take them, but it always leaves you feeling just a little deflated that you actually haven't got a winner, as you would well know.
Oh, absolutely. And Jake called it. He put his hand up them himself and said really that he should have marked it, and he marks these 9 out of 10. Both hands do it, big buckets. They call him, and that's why, because he's such a great sure-handed player. So he would expect to mark it. He said that, and you walk away with a bit of a flat feeling as a player with a draw, particularly the effort that's gone in and the weeks that the Saints have had. It was great forward play from Carlisle. The way he was able to double back towards goal and then come at the leg, a duck back lead. So he did all the hard work, just didn't finish.
Well, the man who affected the spoil and did some great work down back is Phil Davis. And we're just letting Lynchy get his breath because he's sprinted like Usain Bolt to get where he is. Lynchy?
Yeah, thanks, Sandy. I haven't run 50 metres for a long time, but I'm going to assure you, what's the overwhelming sensation after that? You're in a strong position for much of the game, but just let it slip in that last quarter.
Yeah, disappointment. Draws generally go 2 ways, but that was disappointing. So, we still had 28 scoring shots, but to kick 9 goals is pretty disappointing. We should have kicked more accurately and be a long way in front.
It seemed like at times, I think contested ball and clearances were pretty even, but they drove the ball inside 50. You were under pressure there for much of the game.
Yeah, I thought our work around the contest in terms of the contested ball was good. Stoppages probably wasn't our best day today. They're good. They beat Geelong down that area last week, so we knew that was a strength of theirs, but their inside 50s probably had a bit more potency than ours did.
Great work hanging on in that last couple of minutes. Pretty nerve-wracking. Well done.
Yeah, it was a bit scary down there in the den by myself, so I survived. So.
Good work. Well done. Thanks.
Good work, guys. Fascinating to get the thoughts of both camps after that draw at